When you see an ad online, you're really just seeing the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, there's this huge, kind of chaotic system with billions of dollars on the line. And there's a company you've probably never even heard of that's acting like the invisible referee, making sure the whole game is played fairly. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and take a look at this hidden giant.
I mean, it's a good question, right? You scroll past hundreds, maybe thousands of ads every day. Brands are spending an absolute fortune trying to get in front of you. But how do they even know they aren't just paying for a robot in a server farm to look at their ads? That's the huge problem we're going to dive into today.
All right, here's the game plan. We'll start in the wild west of digital ads to see why this is all so necessary. Then we'll look at DoubleVerify's brilliant solution, the authentic ad. We're going to break down their killer business model, see how they pivoted from just playing defense to playing offense. And finally, we'll talk about what the future holds for a company built on trust.
So to really get why DoubleVerify even exists, you first have to understand just how messy the world of online advertising can be. For the big brands, it really is like the Wild West. Tons of opportunity, for sure, but also packed with all kinds of hidden dangers.
And these aren't just little hiccups. We're talking about major headaches that waste millions. First, you've got ad fraud, literally paying for bots to pretend they're customers. Then there's the brand safety nightmare. Imagine you're a big airline, and your ad shows up right next to some crazy conspiracy theory video. Not a good luck. And finally, viewability. This one's just common sense. If your ad loads way down at the bottom of a web page that nobody ever scrolls to, did it even exist? It's this chaos that brands are desperate to fix.
So into this chaos steps DoubleVerify. Their whole job is to be the independent, third-party umpire that brings some order to the game. And they did it by basically inventing a new standard, a whole new currency for what quality means online.
And here it is. This is their genius idea, the authentic ad. They didn't just solve a problem, you see. They created a new form of currency. An authentic ad isn't just a random impression. It's an impression that's been verified, that has value, that's real. This single concept is the bedrock of their entire company.
So what does it actually take for an ad to get this authentic stamp of approval? Well, it has to pass 4 critical tests. Number 1, was it seen by a real human, not a bot? Super important. 2, was the environment brand safe? No weird stuff. 3, was it shown in the right place? Like if you're targeting Miami, it shouldn't show up in Moscow. And 4, was the ad actually on the screen and visible to the user? Only when an ad checks all 4 of these boxes does it count. It creates a clear, simple baseline for quality that the whole industry can trust.
Okay, creating a new standard is one thing, but turning that into a powerful, money-making business, that's another level of genius. So let's get into how DoubleVerify built this incredible economic engine. Now this is the secret sauce right here. See, instead of taking a cut of what an ad costs, which can go up and down like crazy, DoubleVerify charges a tiny, fixed fee for every 1,000 ads it measures. It's like they run a toll booth on the internet's ad highway. They don't care if a fancy sports car or an old pickup truck drives through. They just collect the same small toll for every vehicle. This makes their revenues super stable and predictable because it's based on the sheer volume of ads, not their fluctuating prices. It's brilliant.
And that awesome toll booth model, it fuels 3 different but connected parts of their business. Each one serves a different piece of the advertising puzzle.
So this gives you a pretty clear picture of how that engine is running. In just one quarter, Q3 of 2025, they pulled in almost $189 million. You can see the biggest slice of the pie, 57%, is what they call activation. That's the preventative, pre-bid stuff. Measurement, which is their original product, makes up another 34%. And then there's this little 9% slice for the supply side. But while that slice looks small today, the next slide tells the real story.
Okay, check out this growth. Activation and measurement are growing at a really healthy clip, about 9 or 10%. But then look at the supply side business. It exploded by 27% in just 1 year. So what's going on? Well, it's because huge retailers, think Walmart, Best Buy, places like that, are turning into massive advertising platforms themselves. And they're all hiring DoubleVerify to prove to brands that their ad space is legit.
And what's so cool is how these all work together in this perfect flywheel. A new client usually starts with measurement. They look at their past campaigns and the data comes back and says, hey, you wasted 10% of your budget on fraud. That data makes it a total no-brainer to then sign up for their activation product, which stops you from buying those fraudulent ads in the first place. See how that works? One product naturally sells the next, which makes your customers incredibly sticky.
For a really long time, DoubleVerify's whole game was about defense, blocking the bad stuff. But pretty recently, they made this huge strategic shift to start playing offense. And honestly, it's changing everything for them.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. The old DoubleVerify was basically a security guard. The main question they answered was my ad safe? The new DoubleVerify, though, is more like a performance coach. They're answering a much more valuable question. Hey, did my ad actually help me sell more stuff? It's a massive shift from just preventing waste to actively driving results.
And they made this happen with two really smart acquisitions. Back in 2023, they bought a company called Sybeds, which has this AI engine that doesn't just block bad ads, it actually helps advertisers bid more on the good ones that are likely to work. Then, just in early 2025, they snapped up Rockerbox, a platform that connects all the dots and tells a brand exactly which ad a customer saw before they made a purchase. And just like that, they completed the journey from just verifying ads to proving their performance.
So what does this all mean? Where does this leave them? Well, DoubleVerify has basically cemented itself as a core piece of internet infrastructure. They're not just another vendor, they're an indispensable utility for the whole digital world.
And if you need proof, just look at this number, 0%. Let that sink in for a second. In the third quarter of 2025, among their top 100 biggest customers, they lost 0 of them. None. Once a huge brand builds DV's technology into how they work, it becomes almost impossible to rip out. They're that essential.
This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? They're not a tool anymore. They are the infrastructure. It's like the power grid or the water pipes for online advertising, an essential service that the entire ecosystem just needs to function.
Man, they are set up perfectly for what's coming next. They're using AI to analyze the absolute explosion of video on places like TikTok and YouTube, doing it faster and cheaper than ever. They're getting deeper and deeper inside the walled gardens, Meta, Google, TikTok, because that's where all the money is going. And like we saw, they are becoming the gold standard of truth for that booming retail media world.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one big question. In a world where AI can create endless amounts of fake content and super sophisticated bots, the need for someone you can trust to tell you what's real becomes more important than ever. In that world, a company like DoubleVerify isn't just useful, it's everything. It really makes you think, in an age of artificial reality, who's going to be the one to verify the verifiers?